Hi all. Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. We're starting off with this picture today from a Twitter handle called Scottish Scenery, and this is a picture of the Wallace Monument in Stirling. The picture, it looks like, I could be wrong, but it looks like it was taken in 2013. Beautiful area. Okay, we've got some interesting stuff to cover today, and I learned a very, very, very important lesson about misinformation online, because one of the main topics that we have today is misinformation that was put out by Omid Scobie himself. And we're going to correct that today. So we have actually a lot to cover. Why is it you come over every time I get on camera and the rest of the time you ignore me? Finn. So let's just jump in and get there. And also we're going to discuss, people have been leaving comments, a lot of them very positive about my giving recipes, but some people just aren't enjoying that format. So let's just jump in and get started, shall we? Let's go. All right. Once again, we're going to lead off with comments. And this person named Sheila Selly, I'm not sure how to say that, put up that she doesn't want me talking about my diets and recipes. She's not interested and it's a waste of time. She then put up another statement saying the same thing, but she did congratulate me on my weight loss. And then she said she's not interested in the pets either. She doesn't want to hear about Finn, Toodles, or Tigger. And Diane Hogan also said, no, please, don't care what you're eating. So I've decided to cut back a little bit on the recipes. If you guys, you know what, I'll probably end up doing something like that on my Patreon when I open it up in October. Then I'll really do like videos showing me making the recipes, and then you guys can look at it then. But I'm not going to stop showing Finn, Tigger, and Toodles. Sorry. All right, let's move on to our first big story for today. Ladies and gentlemen, Prince Charles launched a perfume inspired by summer in his garden at Highgrove. Well, let me tell you, I've seen some pictures of Highgrove, and I'm sure that it's one of those places that smells phenomenal. Now, I'm not going to try to name these people who collaborated with him, but it was created with the Prince of Wales because the perfume was inspired by all the blooms and fruits found in Highgrove in the summer months. And this is what they're saying. It's floral notes of lavender, geranium, and mimosa set off by tones of cedar wood and weeping silver line. The new fragrance comes in a signature bottle complete with dark green bow tie, and it raises money for the Prince's Foundation. 10% of all proceeds go towards the charity's training and education programs, which spans the likes of sustainable food and farming, heritage, crafts, and horticulture. Love it. Now, this perfume brand has been one of the ones that received 3 royal warrants throughout history. The first one from Queen Alexandra in 1903, the second from the Duke of Edinburgh in 1956, and the third in 1988 by Prince Charles. You know, I have to tell you, it's 156 pounds or $180. And I got to be honest, that's really not that steep for a good bottle of perfume. Perfume can really be expensive. But what I love is that he's been working for 40 years on this garden. And I'm sure it's absolutely phenomenal. I myself plan on ordering a bottle. I hope it makes it here without breaking. You know, Charles said that Queen Elizabeth had a head gardener named Mr. Nutbeam, and he helped him and Anne when they were little with a little garden that they have, and his love of gardening grew through the years. We know that. He's been an environmental advocate for decades, and he is turning, in case you didn't know it, the Queen's Sandringham estate into a fully organic operation. How cool is that? Anyway, moving on. As you can see, the Highgrove Gardens are absolutely gorgeous. beautiful. They're known for being fragrant, and you have to know just how fabulous they are after Charles has put 40 years of work into them. Anywho, I will be ordering my bottle of perfume as quickly as I can. I'll let you know how it smells when it gets here. All right, moving on. Moving on to Prince William, a 49-year-old man was sentenced to 63 months in prison here in the United States for conspiring to traffic horns and ivory worth over $7 million. You know, I don't get it. That stuff can be made synthetically. I don't understand why people do that anyway. They acquired it all by illegal poaching 35 rhinos and 100 elephants. William put out an emotional statement where he said that the sentencing demonstrates what is possible with coordinated international response, that this is a significant victory and a landmark case, and that this serves as further proof that we have the tools to combat this crime, and it's testament to the power of international collaboration. Now, the gentleman that was arrested was actually taken into custody in 2019, June of 2019, in Uganda, and sent to the U.S., where he's been detained ever since. And then he and his associates were later charged with the conspiracy to traffic rhino horns and elephant ivory. Apparently, dozens of international organizations and law enforcement agencies worked together to nab this guy. Let's not forget, while this is going on, the 3 men who shot and killed that ranger, they're still looking for him. Let's not forget about that. All right, moving on. All right, the next thing that's come out are some details about Prince William and his Earthshot Prize. We know that he's going to New York and the 77th session of the UN General Assembly. He's going to be joined by former UN mayor and UN Special Envoy on Climate Change, Michael Bloomberg. And I agree with this statement. I believe it is safe to say it's not even going to be close to what happened with Prince Harry. The stories are coming out that he's going to New York to drum up U.S. support for the Earthshot Prize. I don't think he has to work very hard to drum up that support. I think everybody's behind him because there's going to be a very glitzy award ceremony in Boston. So he's addressing the Earthshot Prize Innovation Summit, which will convene for the inaugural Earthshot finalists, global business leaders, philanthropists, and activists. Love it. Now, for those of you who are unaware about this, which I was shocked, the first 5 winners were each awarded $1 million, and the Earthshot Prize will award $50 million in prizes over the next 10 years to find solutions to protect and defend the planet. That's what I'm talking about. All right, moving on. And of course, now the stories are coming out. Prince William is unlikely to meet Harry. Well, gee, Harry's flying to the UK while this is going on. So no, I don't believe they're going to meet. And even if there was a chance for them to meet privately, to be very fair, I don't think William would want to meet him. I really just don't. I think William is like, enough already. You keep attacking the family, and I'm just going to keep my eye on the prize, which is the monarchy. Yep. Now, I have to throw this in there just as a point, and thank you to Cambridge Royal for this. The Sussex Squad is going on that William is trying to get invited to the UN to copy Harry, and that William will stay more time in New York to get an invitation to Global Citizens. You guys remember Harry and Meghan were partnered up with Global Citizens. What they don't realize, and this, again, they never do the research, is that Global Citizen and the UN are already global partners of the Earthshot Prize. Okay, before we move on to the Harry and Meghan stories of the day, you should know that the BBC is now in trouble, and they're being accused of discrimination and racism because they posted an internship and said it was not available to white people, but anybody else please apply. Bad move. Oh my goodness. Could you imagine if they put it up and said white people only apply? You know what I mean? Bad optics, people. All right, let's move on. All right, this story I just had to touch on. They're basically saying that everything that Harry and Meghan do is going to be vetted out by Netflix. So they can be asked to modify them. They can be asked to go back and film some more stuff. They can, be asked to cut, delete scenes, extra content, request editorial, or they could even turn down the projects that Harry and Meghan have come up with. Now, it's because of this that I'm wondering about this next new news that came out. And that news is that Harry and Meghan still have a lot of problems with their deals over their decline in ratings among people. Now, of course, this came from Neil Sean. He's talking about both contracts. Like Spotify keeps saying we're going to release something very soon. And even though Spotify sped things up by providing some producers to help them, how hard is it to do a podcast? You simply record, and yet they haven't been able to produce anything. And then you've got the Netflix content where they've produced nothing in 2 years, and Netflix has even had to step in to help them make content, and still they've had nothing to release. And yes, they're bringing Netflix with them because they're trying to counteract what happened at the Platinum Jubilee. I don't think that that's possible. And the other bit of information came out is that because the deal with Netflix is based on the production budget, that means that they're going to pocket much less money. Now, they were given a few million up front, and that money was supposed to go to produce content and, whatever it was, that was production budget money, right? To build shows and concepts and pilots and pitch ideas. And everything that they pitched was a vanity project and was turned down except for Pearl, which was then cut later. So the cut that Harry and Meghan are going to get from the deal personally is probably less than 20%. Now, we know that Netflix lost hundreds of thousands of subscribers for the first time in 10 years. And we know that their worth dropped, it plummeted. And so people are like, we don't understand why you're continuing on with them. Well, they've already invested so much money. I think they feel like they need to finish the project. And then if it tanks, that'll be the end of it. Very interesting to see how this will turn out. But again, with Netflix, this leads into the next thing that just came out. Well, yeah, Harry and Meghan are being accused, or I should just say Harry. I'm sorry. I don't want to throw Meghan in there. They're saying Harry is being accused of staging drama at the Well Child Awards. Now, they're looking at first what happened 2 years ago. He was giving a speech and he, quote unquote, broke down on stage and he was crying. And people are saying, I'm so sick of reading about him crying. He was laughing. He snorted. Not one tear came down his face. I mean, come on, it's just drama. And then it was the next year when one of the children there asked to see a picture of his quote unquote newborn daughter, and he insulted the kid and the mother. It's drama, drama, drama. Everybody's wondering what's going to happen this year. All right, let's move on to our main story. Okay, everybody, we are going back now to look at the story that I put up the other day about how Harry made that surprise visit to Africa. He flew in on, we all know, another private jet. He stayed in a top-notch hotel. He stayed, in the five-star thing with the infinity pool that overlooks the water. We've seen all this yesterday, right? But some news has come out since then. Everybody assumed he went there to get away from Meghan because he actually looks happy for once in his life. But then the news came out, per Omid Scobie, that he's co-hosting a delegation of congressmen led by Senator Chris Coons about conservation efforts. Now, to be fair, people got upset, as I did, because he is a private citizen. He doesn't represent the Queen. He doesn't represent the U.S. He doesn't represent anybody but his own interests. And of course, Omid, who claims that he has nothing to do with these people and he knows nothing, is spewing this information. Well, I myself also became quite upset and said, that might be the end of your position in the Senate. But then, of course, the real story came out. The area he was in, the leaders there put out a tweet. You can see the translation at the bottom. And it says, a delegation of congressmen led by Chris Coons visited the national park in order to learn the efforts of the U.S. in assistance for environmental conservation that leverages tourism, generates jobs, and mitigates the effects of, climate change. Not one mention was made of Harry. And in the pictures that they posted, no Harry. Very interesting. Then this statement was put out. Now it's rather lengthy and it is small, but you can freeze your screen and read it. But what I'm really interested in is the bottom part where it says, led by Senator Coons of the Senate Appropriations Committee. And then it lists the other delegation members that went to House Appropriations Committee, all of these people. But look who wasn't listed, Prince Harry. Then Senator Coons put up this tweet that said he's leading a congressional trip that started in Cabo Verde this week, where we met with U.S. Green Berets training their forces as part of our partnership on maritime security. And I am looking forward to strengthening ties with Cabo Verde and other African nations during this visit. So he visited the troops. Harry didn't. Then the senator posted this tweet where he discussed successful efforts. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, to convert marine debris into building materials with African parks. And in the Senate, I've secured tens of millions of dollars to halt ocean pollution, but we can't solve global problems without help from these partners. Fabulous. Then he put up these tweets. I hope I'm saying this right. Mozambique is a growing leader in Africa and fast becoming a key regional partner on conservation efforts. I look forward to working with leaders in Maputo, I hope I'm saying that right, as we continue to strengthen our partnership and support their fight against terrorism. Once again, no mention or pictures of Harry. Next was a tweet, not a treat, from Senator Coons, saying he had the pleasure of meeting with the Prime Minister and some other people to discuss how they can strengthen their partnership on economic development, climate, and security. Interesting. Again, no pictures of Harry, no mentions of Harry. The people of that region also put up a tweet, which I translated for you as best I can on my phone. Here you go. Again, no mention or photos of Harry. So now the information is coming out and everybody's looking at each other going, what the heck is happening? Because there is no mention of Harry. So Christine wondered if Harry flew over on U.S. military planes with the senators and congressmen because they would be secure and, of course, it wouldn't cost him anything. I'm going to say no to that because what I saw at the airport with that photo, the only person there was Harry. And I really like what this person wrote because basically Prince Harry's spokesperson, Omid Scobie, put out misleading statements that he co-hosted and welcomed them when actually that's not really true. I agree with what Baroness Brooks said here. The U.S. delegation is visiting on a wide-scope bilateral cooperation program covering security, business, youth leadership, and more. And Harry's quote-unquote host duties were barely a cameo in one very small segment of the tour. I agree. I also think this tweet is spot on. Harry used his contacts to get an invite to participate in an already planned bilateral program. His spokesperson said he welcomed and co-hosted, and they made out that his role was much bigger than in truth it was. I agree, it is an embarrassment to African parks. Yeah, I agree. Victory Romy, I think you are right. I think Harry hitched a ride via the back door to look like he's involved in something. And I'm wondering if Netflix went and if Netflix taped this, would the congressmen and the House and Senate members allow themselves to become part of a Netflix documentary? That will be very interesting to see. Now, you also should know that since Omid put out the misinformation about what Harry was doing there and how he's co-hosting, other news outlets picked it up and they've been running with that narrative. Listen to this.
Prince Harry is back in one of his favorite places. People can confirm that the Duke of Sussex made a surprise trip to Africa in his role as president of African Parks, a nonprofit conservation group that manages national parks across the continent. A spokesperson for Harry tells people he's there to welcome and co-host a group of U.S. officials, conservationists, and philanthropists as they tour protected wildlife and nature areas.
And I absolutely agree with Unlikely Bot here. The U.S. Embassy press release on this trip did not mention Harry. So yes, I'm sure phones will be ringing eventually to, get Harry's name out there. All right, one more little tidbit here at the end. This was sent to me by one of my followers on Twitter, and she got it from Keep New York City Mega Trash Free, I think is how you say it. Just very interesting. It's Senator Markle. Yes, you may know that Markle thinks she's going to run for the Senate. Unfortunately, as long as she is the Duchess of Sussex and Princess Meghan, that's not really legally possible. But okay, she's going for it. Anyway, this came up, Senator Markle, right? And look who's following. Boom! What does that tell you, people? And now, ladies and gentlemen, a little palate cleanser for you. All right, you guys, once again, lots of information. I really want to know what you guys think about Omid Scobie putting out misinformation and making it look like he was hosting and co-hosting something that it turns out he wasn't. Very interesting. What do you guys think about Netflix? And what do you guys think about William at the UN and everything that's going on there? What do you guys think about all of that? Make sure to leave those comments below because you know I'm reading them, okay? Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future uploads. Don't forget to double check if you've hit the button to make sure you're still subscribed. That's very important. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter, Getter, Rumble. You can email me. For those of you who've donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.